buying books and we're reading books about leadership, about whatever that field is. And there's a lot of information that we have. A lot of that information is not necessarily being translated into the things that we're doing. And so how do we close the gap between knowing and doing? That's the conversation that I want us to have today. The big discussion really being, we start from information. We learn a lot of information through books, through, conferences, and even so many interactions. There's a lot of information that we have, and that information comes into our awareness. How do we turn that knowledge into insight? Something that we can apply into our lives immediately. Something that can move the needle forward. How do we turn that into an insight? And then how does that insight translate into wisdom? Wisdom is the application of knowledge rightly in a specific situation in order to create the results that we want. And that's the process where the wisdom is now being translated into action, and the action then produces the results that we want. As you can see, moving from knowledge, all right, to application, which is action, is quite a journey. And the skill, the part of us that is responsible for gathering and acquiring information, is not responsible for turning that information into insight. It's not responsible for making it possible for us to do it. And that's why the knowledge gap exists. At a time when we are living in what you would call the information age, just at the click of a button, you have all the information accessible to you. Even with AI now organizing and arranging it for you in the way that you want it. How come we're not getting more results? How come we're not being able to do more? I don't want to take a lot of your time here, but I just want to give you a tip and an insight that will help you understand this in a great way. And it's this. In order for us to do anything, we have to become. We have to become the person who does. We have to become the person who does in order for us to have what it is that we desire. And this be, do, have is a triangle that has existed for the longest time. It's a model, it's a principle that governs how we actually create results. We don't do things because we know them. We do things because that's who we are. We don't do things because we know them. We do them because that's who we are. Summarized in another way is that the inner game always runs the outer game. The doing is normally on the outer game. That's the place where, physically you're able to do the thing. But the thing that actually helps you to do is your inner game. And your inner game is made up of your beliefs and values. You see that be again. Your assumptions, your meaning-making system, your decision-making system, your mental models, your personal identity, your self-image and esteem. All these, that's who you are. That's who you are. That's who you become. And that's why the things that you're doing right now that are helping you get the results that you're getting, whether you like those results or not, are because that's who you are. You don't struggle to do who you are. And so when you learn something new, there is a journey to be traveled. There is an application. There is a complete neurological pathway development in order for you to do different. The part of you that knows and the part of you that does are two different parts. And just because you know something doesn't mean that you have the ability to do it. You need to go through a loop of learning how to do what you know. And that journey is always difficult, and why we run away from it is because it's not nice, it's not exciting. Let me give you an example here. You see, back to this conversation about the part of you that actually does, the part of you that does something, okay? So let's say this is your mind. I'm going to draw this quickly here. Your mind, all right, that's really big, that's great. That your mind has your conscious mind. It's your thinking mind. And this mind gets ideas from outside. You learn all the things that you need to learn. And those ideas are impressed onto into your feeling mind, which is actually the mind that is responsible, the part of your mind that's responsible for doing everything. Your automatic responses are governed here. And the only way that your body, which is subject to your mind, gets to do anything, which is your actions, in order for you to get a result, is that there has to be a chemical and electrical pulse released into your body. And that chemical and electrical pulse being released into your body has to do with your neurological pathways for doing the things that you do. So everything that you're doing today that's blocking you from getting what you know you can get is because that's who you are. That's the becoming part. You became that person, and that's why you're doing what you do effortlessly. We had this laugh with one of my clients on the call when she said, you know what, I am so, I'm doing this so consistently and I don't want to do it. And it was a joke when we said, oh, so you're disciplined about your indiscipline. It was a funny joke. We laughed about it, but the awareness was right there. Like, why is it that I'm so disciplined at doing the things that I don't want to do? That's because that's who I am. And so we've got to learn that the knowledge gap, the gap between knowing and doing exists because we have not become the person who does those things that we know. Yes, we know, but we are not able to have. John Maxwell shared this with me in a very powerful way. He said, Benjamin, you don't reproduce what you want. You reproduce who you are. You can want it all you want, but until you become so that you can do, all right, you're not going to have it. And so the work for us is in becoming. That's why the knowledge gap exists. Because we are something when we know, and we're supposed to become something else. So there are two states of be that are required. The be currently gives me the results I have. The be future is going to give me the results that I have. And in between here is the becoming journey. There's a stretch that's required in this journey. Paul Martinelli shared it to me in a powerful way, which is why I want us to go now as we land. You don't get what you want, Benjamin. You don't get what you want. You get what you believe. He's talking about the inner game of performance, the inner game of results. And your beliefs drive your behavior. So what exactly are we going to do? We need to understand this be, do, have principle, which is, we must become the person who does what it is that is required in order for us to have whatever it is that we want. And that's the big question today for you. Who must you become in order for you to do what is required to have what you desire? That is the big question. And so how do we close that gap? It's by becoming. And the becoming journey involves us doing what it is that we're doing and getting a certain result. And once we get this result, interrogate that result and see the thoughts and the patterns that created that result, and then do differently, come here again from a different level of awareness, all right, and impress differently to our body to act. Is that okay? And get a different result. And so it is it is in the trial, that's not trial, failure, growth process. And we go through this journey. And every time trial, failure, growth, we're moving from here where we are, the be that I am, to there, which is where I want to go, the be that I ought to be in order to do what is required to have what I want. And it's a trial, failure, growth journey. Trial, failure, growth journey. Trial, failure, growth journey. By the time I get here, I have become. And this is how you close the knowledge gap. This is how you close the knowledge gap. I'm excited to have come alongside you today, those short few minutes during this lunch and learn. Thank you so much for tuning in. Get in touch with me, DM, click the link in the bio, and let's start a conversation on how you can close the knowledge gap between what you know and what you do. There's a lot of information that you know, and it can serve you to thrive, to create the results that you want. But until you understand what the pathway from being me to being that person who does what is required in order to have what I have, you'll continue to go around in circles. And I don't want that for you. Reach out and let me help you. Be well. Bye for now.